back. Smash up the likes if you're excited for this one. You already know the deal. You know, we had an area of pretty low volatility for a while, right? And especially kind of from mid-February up until just about a week ago, 4 days ago, something like that. We didn't really have much volatility, but for the first time in quite a long time now, if we look at these daily candles, we've seen a pretty significant move. I mean, that's a 12% move within 4 days. Pretty quick, pretty large. You know, the last time we got a 12% move, something like this was, you know, it took about 6 days, but for the most part before that, we were just kind of trading sideways for nearly a month, so it wasn't actually ideal. Thank you for all the love in the comments today, really do appreciate that. Obviously you guys know I had to do a live stream today because this breakout has been absolutely enormous. It's been exactly what we've been predicting on this YouTube channel. Literally, the accuracy has been a little bit mind-blowing for me. I was talking to you guys just a few days ago about a $3,500 Ethereum, and we're knocking on the door of that right now. The OHLC, the high, shows us that the current high Ethereum is set just today is $3,428, and so we've come within $72, $71.50 of my 3.5k target. The profit I'm in is fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely insane. VIPs will have known all about this as I've been going along with it, and you can join by following these steps on screen right here. I don't even know what the percentage gain is right now. I'm guessing it's like 160%. Absolutely insane, closing in on tripling my money. Let me actually calculate this really quick. So that's a 20% move times 8 is 160% roughly. So pretty damn impressive gain. I mean, you know, another little bit higher, and I will have doubled my money, which is pretty damn cool. I think, yeah, if it, yeah, I will have doubled my money if it rises to 35, 33. That's absolutely, no, tripled my money. I'm sorry. That's pretty damn impressive. And you know what, the best part about this that I'm seeing right now, I'm going to cover a lot of things. I'm going to be talking about where I think Bitcoin might be going next and so on, but one of the first key things that I really want to draw your attention in on at the moment is this chart with Ethereum, and just pointing out to you guys where the kind of resistance is that I'm seeing on this chart. Because to be honest with you guys right now, I mean, look, I know I'm in a long position, I'm super biased right now, but if you've been watching my recent videos, you're going to know that I've not been letting that kind of cloud my judgment too much, right? I mean, obviously to some degree it's always going to cloud my judgment. I just got to be realistic with you guys. I'm a human, but I can do many things in my control to minimize the effect that that has on my decision making and the effect that that has on my analysis. And so you know, kind of keeping all of that in mind, just looking at the raw resistance levels here on this chart, it looks to me like Ethereum has broken pretty much every single one of them, right? I mean, this kind of red box for me was probably the main area of resistance for Ethereum to break. That box, the equivalent for it for Bitcoin, was this green box right here. By the way, look at my target. We're pretty much halfway up to that target right now on day 2 of the breakout. So I was talking about how if we do manage to get a breakout above this green box, this thing can fly really quick. And broadly speaking, I just want you guys to understand why stuff like that is happening. That's quite an important thing. Let me blow up the camera. Hopefully this works. No, it doesn't. You know, one of the key things that you know, we see happening in these markets as we approach those kind of resistance levels is that the market kind of slows down a little bit, right? Take a look at this right here. The market slows down just a little bit in the days leading up to the breakout, and so what's actually happening there is that the bulls are trying to push the price higher, but there's some kind of like last minute resistance. There's some last minute selling action going on. There is a set number of Bitcoins that are intended to be sold at these price levels, and as soon as those Bitcoins have been sold and that supply diminishes, but demand stays at the same level or higher, you know, as that supply kind of diminishes, the demand maybe shifts to the upside, and bam, you get a huge breakout suddenly because all those Bitcoins have been sold off that wanted to be sold off. Everyone who wanted to sell their Bitcoin has sold it. And then, you know, people generally are not going to want to sell Bitcoin when they see a breakout like this, because it's quite expected that, you know, if we're coming out of an area of low volatility, we might be entering an area of high volatility. And again, that's exactly what we're seeing right now. The good news, even for Bitcoin, but as I was showing you with Ethereum, let's just stick to Bitcoin for a minute here, is that there's really not much resistance up ahead at the moment. I mean, with Bitcoin, it's not so clear because these ranges, they could have a little bit of a problem for Bitcoin. You know, I want to focus your attention on this same chart, and I just want to throw on the VPVR indicator because it's a beautiful way to look at how we're penetrating this cloud. My God, we're up to the 200-day moving average now. This is the next test for Bitcoin right here on the daily time frame. This 200-day moving average is absolutely critical. I'll hopefully be talking about that later on in this live stream. Shout out to those of you who are tuning in live. Thank you for the compliments on the haircut and the beard. I never ever trim it this low, but I had to do it in a rush today. If you are enjoying this live stream so far, despite the technical issues and so on, then do me a favor and just smash up the likes as you're coming in right here. We're still getting throttled on this channel. The channel is just not picking up the same amount of views that it should be, and every time you engage with the video, every time you throw a like, every time you drop a comment, it helps a lot. So I really do appreciate that. Obviously, the better these do, the more I'll do these live streams, right? So you guys know I love doing them. But right here, yeah, heavy resistance that we are just making light work of at the moment. And if we zoom out and take a look at the VPVR, now for those of you who don't know what the VPVR indicator is, it is basically an indicator that visualizes where Bitcoin has traded in its past, right? And so you can see with these big spikes right here, it implies that there's been a lot of trading action for Bitcoin at this very price level, 38.8, you know, potentially indicating that that's a critical area where you might expect, you know, if Bitcoin kind of falls down to this price level, you might expect a support bounce, but on the contrary, if it rises up to this level, you might be able to expect some resistance, right? Purely because this is just, it's an area where a lot of Bitcoins have been exchanged, and so naturally it's going to hold some sway in the market, right? I mean, it's got price history, basically. That's what the VPVR shows us. And so if we take a look at, you know, this kind of spike right here, it's a little bit harder to see, but those of you who are not on mobile, who are watching this from a desktop or something, which by the way, that's always the best way to watch these videos. I mean, if you can't access one, then it's better to watch it on a mobile than not watch it at all. But you want to try and watch these things on a proper desktop because there's a lot of numbers and stuff like that. But anyway, you probably figured that out by now. You know, you can see that there is a spike right here on the VPVR, and it's not a big one, but it does demonstrate that there is a little bit of, you know, it's just a little bit of friction in this price area for Bitcoin. You know, 47K, 48K, I've always said could potentially be a bit of a challenge for Bitcoin, especially considering that when it first managed to rally up to these levels, these are kind of exactly where we started to see some bounces. This is kind of where we saw some support and resistance throughout Bitcoin's price history. So again, you know, I was saying that we're due for a correction over here. We're still due for a correction right now. I mean, the fact that we keep rising up doesn't matter. You know, if we're due for a correction, we're due for a correction, right? If you've got, you know, if you've got a project that's got a deadline and you're overdue, it doesn't matter how far overdue you are, you're still overdue. And I think that's something which people, you know, really struggle to understand in these markets, is that, you know, and it's just a common quote, is these markets can stay irrational for a lot longer than you can stay solvent, which is basically another way of saying that, you know, unreasonable things can happen and you just gotta fucking deal with it, right? You know, I mean, yes, we are due for a correction. Does that mean we're gonna get one? Not necessarily, but, you know, you've got to keep your eyes peeled for those things, because especially, like, for example, me in this long position right now, my job now that I've executed an insanely successful trade is making sure that I don't close it prematurely, that I keep it running and so on, you know, because I'm in 160% profit. It would have been a waste if I closed the whole position down at 80%, for example, right? So these are the kind of things I've got to be considering now, and that's where the game kind of changes as a trader. You know, for those of you who are perhaps newer to the market or don't quite have your bearings about you as much as you'd like, you can join 𝗓𝗡ly's VIP and watch me navigate these markets, where I explain absolutely every decision I make from A to Z, but also teach you how I trade, how I analyze, and so on within our 𝗓𝗡ly's Academy courses, which most members are going to get for free depending on how they join. So just follow these steps on screen, these 3 quick clicks. My team is online right now, so I can't personally reply to you, but my team will. All you got to do is follow these 3 quick clicks on screen and then come right back to the live stream. Just going to read a couple comments for a little bit before I head back to the analysis. Definitely a lot to talk about on that front. I want to talk about Ethereum as well, because to me that's what's quite exciting, and I want to go ahead and look at altcoins as well. So I'm going to see how you guys are doing in the comments. Thank you all for smashing up the likes, by the way. Really do appreciate that. Very impressive how it correlates to more views just instantly coming in. I don't really understand how that works every single time, but still is nice to see. Are we due for a pullback? Absolutely, yeah. It's basically what I've been talking about. A lot of you guys want to know how old I am. I talk about my age all the time. I don't talk about it, but it's like all over my socials. But yeah, so let's head back to the market. We're just setting new highs right now. Look at this on the 1 hour time frame. We're literally right now setting new highs for this trend. Look at that, beautiful. beautiful. So you know, that's showing us that we've still very much got some strength, at least in the short term. Look at that volume spiking up as well. Pretty nice. I mean, you know, when you get volume spikes like this, it's a bit weird, like, you know, what is the volume doing over here? But when you get a volume spike like this on a breakout candle, that's a big deal, right? I mean, volume spikes like this, I don't really care about too much, but, you know, when you're actually actively pushing highs and you're still spiking the volume, that is a big deal. And that is exactly what we're doing right here with 7 seconds left on this candle. Look at us pushing it up, 48.2. Absolutely phenomenal, beautiful, beautiful price action. Let's zoom out a little bit more and take a wider view. So like I said, there is a little bit of resistance here. Now, I'm not too worried about it because of the strength that Bitcoin has, but like I said, a correction is due. It can come at any time. If we do manage to get a correction, I must expect that this area flips into support now. This is now my key area on the chart. It would be the best place for Bitcoin to return to. I don't want it to, but it would be the healthiest thing, whether we, you know, kind of drop down now or we rise up another couple $1,000s and then we drop down. But whatever the case is, if we do end up dropping back down here, this is going to be the ultimate test. If this level fails, you can kiss this shit goodbye. We have been utterly fucked. We've been misled and destroyed in this market if we fail this level. But if we don't fail this level, if we come back down here and we don't fail this level, this is where it starts becoming tempting to start selling houses again to buy Bitcoin, because I am absolutely going to expect a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 Bitcoin if we manage to find support off levels like this. We may never come down to test this level again. We may not come down for a very, very long time, but bottom line is that if we do, I want you guys to be prepared for it, and I want you guys to be aware of what might actually be going on, because it's going to trigger potentially quite a bit of fear. If we take a look at the fear and greed index, unfortunately it's not updated yet, but for the first time in a bloody long time, we are now up in greedy territory. We haven't been here for a very, very long time. We've kind of hit neutral levels, you know, pushing high neutral levels, but we haven't actually been in greedy territory since the 16th of November. So that is a very, very long time ago. We're now at the end of March. It's like 5 months, 5.5 months that we just have not seen these levels of excitement and happiness in the market. So please keep that in mind. Now, the fact that we're finally in greedy territory, does this mean that Bitcoin must start falling now? Absolutely not. We can be in greedy territory and keep rising up, just the same as we can be in fearful territory and keep dropping down. You guys who've been watching this channel consistently now are hopefully starting to notice these patterns where I'm going to give you guys analysis that's very bearish when the market is dropping, and I'm not scared of saying those things, and it's exactly the same when the market is rising. I have absolutely no problem telling you guys that I think this is bullish, because at the end of the day, I'm just looking to trade it, right? If it moves up, I want to trade it up. If it moves down, I want to trade it down. This is something which, again, a lot of people struggle with, but, you know, you've got to be able to exercise that nuance and just understand that, look, I mean, you know, the same things are going to happen in reverse when the market starts trending higher. And one of those things is, yeah, you know, I mean, this reading right here is the equivalent of being 40, you know, on our fear and greed index, you know, towards the downside, right? And you can definitely continue to drop if you're at a reading of 40, in the same way you can continue to rise if you're at a reading of 60. This has a long way to go. You know, we haven't seen extreme levels of greed yet. We very well may. We may be looking at a massive bull trap before this thing ends up crashing down. Again, I don't want to talk about those ideas too much just now. But the other thing that I want to highlight and bring to your attention is, yeah, these kind of speculative targets that we could be looking at for this market right now. Because if we kind of measure up a flagpole, you know, for how high Bitcoin could be looking at pumping up, we just kind of put it in the middle of this range right here. Although actually, I mean, I guess I can, you know, and this is very much down to your own interpretation. There's no right or wrong way to draw this, in my opinion, but I'm just going to kind of draw it like this. This gives us a speculative target of about $55,000, which is absolutely beautiful from the downside to the upside in terms of percentage move. We're looking at a potentially 30% break to the upside. That puts us at about $59,000. These are the kind of price levels which I think are fairly achievable, especially in the low 50K range, 53. The reason I'm saying 53 is, again, this is exactly where we've triggered a big reversal, where the market actually ended up dropping down by quite a bit. If we measure this from high to low, it ended up dropping down by about 25%, and it did so within 14 days, right? So this was quite a significant reversal point in the market. And if we trace this back, we've also had key reversals to the upside from here, 27% move within 19 days, for example. We've also seen rejections from here before. This is the big rejection that I was predicting on the YouTube channel. Those of you, again, who are subscribed will know all about it. So shout out to those of you who have been showing support to this channel. And thank you all, by the way, very much for shooting up the likes. Someone's saying there's a black screen. Is everything okay? Just let me know, please, in the chat if everything is okay, but it looks fine on my side. Yeah, so I would be expecting a little bit of resistance around there. In terms of indicators providing resistance, there's nothing left. You know, there is the Ichimoku cloud, there's the 200-day EMA moving average, which we're battling right now. We've already broken the 200-day EMA, which is absolutely huge. That's very, very significant. This is not a fake out, in my opinion. We've managed to rise significantly above this 200-day EMA right now, so I'm extremely bullish by that measure as well. Yes, we are now battling its far more intimidating rival, which is the 200-day moving average, not the exponential moving average, but the regular moving average. This is actually a more important line, in my opinion, just because it's not weighted towards recent price action. That's what the EMA is. It's weighted towards recent price action. This one is more equal, it's more fair, and that just makes it a better indicator for the long term, in my opinion. And yeah, we are battling that right now. But other than that, ladies and gents, there is no resistance on the daily time frame. We've got massive support from the EMA ribbon. It's going to be rising up. We've had all of those bullish crossovers now. I mean, from this perspective, from this time frame, at this indicator, the market is fully bullish right now. You know, our Ichimoku cloud starting to close up, so if we manage to kind of push a little bit further, we might end up seeing some support towards the beginning, or more likely middle to end of May. You know, if this market does end up kind of dropping back down into this range, we can definitely expect some support here towards the end of May. You know, I mean, with all of my indicators, there is nothing left that's bearish for this market. You know, all we have is the horizontal resistance, the psychological resistance, and you know, the VPVR potentially offering some resistance as well, like right here. But again, this is where the picture is different for Ethereum, because this very same VPVR, if you just kind of compare the spikes, look at where the price is right now and look at the spike of the VPVR. This is showing you that this is quite a significant price area where you certainly should be expecting to maybe find some sort of a reversal, or some sort of a, you know, kind of break, some sort of, you know, kind of something that makes the trend struggle to continue, just because we've got this spike on the VPVR. But you look at the equivalent on Ethereum and it just doesn't have that spike, right? I mean, the most recent spike was down here around my red box, and we've already cleared that, right? This is what makes things really, really interesting. Ethereum has gained a lot of strength against Bitcoin just over the past day. I know it doesn't look like too much, but this is fairly significant from high to low, and I'll show you why in just a minute. It's managed to gain 3% against Bitcoin in one day. The reason that's a big deal is, again, if you look at the percentage gain, and I've been talking about this for a really long time, literally just said this on my most recent video. So again, shout out to those of you who are subscribed and catching all of this content, because you would be missing critical information if you weren't already subscribed, if you haven't already been ticking that bell and so on, you know, to make sure that you can continue to see this analysis. You know, one of the key things I was pointing out is that when these markets do rise, Ethereum tends to rise harder than Bitcoin, right? So if you take a look at Bitcoin's percentage change right here, it's up by 2.82%, whereas Ethereum is up by 4%. I mean, it's not even close. It's like nearly 30% better performance than Bitcoin, which is absolutely insane. I mean, it's actually maybe more than that. You know, so it's ridiculous how well you know, Ethereum has been performing against Bitcoin, and this is something that I'm quite bullish on, because like I said, I mean, we've got this pennant that, you know, that we've formed since May. It's one of the most successful pieces of analysis I've been able to give you over the past year, and you know, I mean, we are ready to break out. You know, we've pretty much traded all the way up to the apex. I can't see this thing continuing to bounce between these levels anymore. The range is just far too tight, and so I am potentially expecting a little bit of a breakout to the upside, and that's where this thing could absolutely explode. I mean, I don't even, I mean, because I'm still in a long position, I will cream my fucking pants right now if I calculate what would happen to Ethereum if it manages to rise up to where it was before. That is just way too much excitement. That's where I'm going to get the lotion out, if I'm being totally honest with you guys, because there's no resistance on this chart. This is what you know, I think is quite exciting. Again, I just want to ground this, because I know a lot of people are getting very excited. That doesn't mean that, you know, we can't have a pullback. I mean, you know, this chart is ridiculous. Let's be honest. Let's cut the shit. You know, I mean, this is quite an absurd rally. It's far too much, but it's not the first time Ethereum's done anything like this. I mean, you know, on this leg right here, it managed to rally up for 12 days straight, up by 54%. We're now on day 15. It's not been 15 days straight. We have had some small pullbacks like right here, but you know, I mean, we've potentially got some more to go if Ethereum is, and to be honest, I mean, this whole leg really, until it really started to slow down, it was actually rising up for 19 days and nearly doubled, right? So I'm not saying Ethereum should do that again, but this is definitely one of its characteristics, right? Is that when it starts running, it fucking blasts off. It goes absolutely insane. Again, this is the reason I've been saying, while the market was bearish, you guys, again, who have been tuned in, you remember when I was saying, like, right now, the people who are paying attention are the next crypto millionaires? Remember when I was saying that? It was just like a few weeks ago. I say it every time when the market enters a little bit of a slump and people start kind of losing faith and losing interest in the market. I'm here reminding you guys, look, if you pay attention right now, you're going to be the next kind of generation of crypto millionaires. Always happens, always happens. And you know, this is happening again right now, where, I mean, yeah, this thing is just really, I mean, it's incredibly impressive compared to where Bitcoin is. And the reason that I get so excited by this is I don't feel like I'm taking on more risk by trading Ethereum right now, but I am enjoying way more reward by trading Ethereum right now. And that's something which I think is really important, because I know a lot of, you know, massive shitcoin traders, you know, are only looking to buy their little shit coins and run them up to the very, very high price levels. But I mean, you look at some other classic shit coins like Solana right here, and you know, I mean, it's actually managed to rise up fairly nicely, but I feel like considering its market cap, you know, a coin like this could have done a lot better, especially when you consider the kind of risk that you're taking on, right? Because if we kind of measure that from low to high, yes, it managed to get a beautiful 41% break to the upside, which is phenomenal. But Ethereum within that same kind of time also managed to pull a 37% move. So you're looking at, and I want to put this in perspective while I've got your attention here, because people don't look at the market this way. And again, this is one of the things you learn when you're in VIP. Like, trading is not just about which shitcoin do you buy and where do you buy and sell it, right? There's so much more that goes into trading, like, properly in the long run. If you actually want like really, really good levels of success, there's a lot more that goes into it. And what I'm about to show you is one of those key things. And if you do find this useful, do me a favor and just smash up the likes for this one right here, because this is a big deal. See, here's the thing, is if we look at market cap right here, this is showing us the size of these markets, right? And Solana right here is worth $36 billion, $36.5 billion basically, whereas Ethereum is worth $410 billion, right? That's a really important note that I want you guys to keep in mind. If we take a look at Solana and Ethereum at the same time, let's just compare the age of these two coins, right? Solana pretty much only been around since 2020, right when the pandemic broke and became very scary around March, April of 2020. But Ethereum, with its price history, has been around since 2015. Ethereum is on its 7th year of existence, 7th year of existence. Solana is on year 2. That's a big deal. Solana hasn't even hit year 2 according to this chart. It probably has in real life, but this is a very important point. I mean, you're looking at a market that's $36 billion in terms of total size versus $400 billion in terms of total size. And if you're not getting where I'm coming at yet, I'm just going to come out and say it very openly. What's happening here is that if you're trading Solana, a much smaller, far less mature market, and you're getting nearly the same gain as Ethereum, a much larger, far more mature market, then yes, you are enjoying a slightly higher reward by trading Solana, but your risk is not slightly higher. You're trading a market that's like more than 10 times smaller than Ethereum. That doesn't mean it's 10 times riskier than Ethereum, but it absolutely, I'm just pulling this number out of my ass, but it absolutely is probably going to be at least 20% more riskier than Ethereum, right? You know what I mean? Like, when the market is smaller, it's less liquid, it's more prone to manipulation and so on. These are just facts of these markets, right? I mean, you can choose to ignore it because Solana is your baby and it's made you a shitload of money, but sorry, mate, that's not going to change reality. The fact is, when a market is smaller, it's just more prone to manipulation. It's more prone to fuck you over. It just happens. It's just because it's smaller, it's easier to push. And you can't say the same thing for Ethereum when you compare it to Solana. And to me, that is the big deal here. That is the absolutely critical point that I think is well worth drawing to your attention right now, is that you are able to enjoy very similar levels of reward with a much safer coin. That means you can enter it with far more conviction and so on. I find that incredibly valuable, and again, that's why I'm so, what the fuck was that? And that's why I am so excited by Ethereum. Bear with me here, I'm starting to get a bit of lag. Let me just make sure everything is fine. should be okay. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to live stream for, but let me, guys, can you let me know if there's lag in the live stream today? If there's lag on the video and so on, just let me know if you can see me okay. If my head is like kind of lagging around, but it's starting to look a little bit bad, so I'm not sure. Connection's totally fine, by the way. There's no connection issue, as far as I know anyway. Yeah, no, it's totally fine. But yeah, so Ethereum right here, like I said, you know, just kind of looking at where we could find resistance. I mean, you know, I'm just looking for where we found rejections, where significant reversals have taken place. I suppose that this line up at 3640 is probably an interesting area. So, you know, this could turn into a bit of a problem for Ethereum. But broadly speaking, if you compare it to, for example, this green box where we've had much stronger interactions with the market, right? Take a look at this, big rejections that have taken the market much lower, big support hit that took the market much higher, and then again more support and a little bit more resistance. Like this green box is very important, right? It's definitely a critical area in the market for Ethereum. We just don't have those kind of areas anymore as this price rises up, right? And that's because there's just limited price history, right? For Ethereum's life, you know, I mean, it spent in total, I mean, let's just calculate this right now on video. It took 7 plus 5 plus 83, so that's 12 plus 83, 95 days of Ethereum's entire 7-year life. This is a big deal. 95 days out of Ethereum's entire 7-day life have been spent above this yellow line, which is to say, fuck all, absolutely nothing. Ethereum has spent no time beyond this line, and so it had no time to establish resistance or support, and that's why we see a very quick move up and a fairly quick move down as well. You know, I mean, on the move up we just didn't really establish any support, so we couldn't find any resistance. I'm sorry, we didn't establish any resistance, so we couldn't find any support on the way up, and that's going to help us again right now. Now obviously it's not healthy, right? Like the more support and resistance you have, the healthier the market is going to be, the less likely you are to get big drops like this in the first place. But absolutely what we could be looking at right now nonetheless is a situation where there's just limited resistance to stop Ethereum from rising up. Now again, does that mean that, you know, this is a guaranteed thing? Absolutely not. There's still, I mean, we're still overdue a correction. This is still a very aggressive rally, and if I wasn't in a long position right now, I would be screaming about this as I am right now anyway, because when you see a market that's continuously trending up with limited, if any, pullbacks whatsoever, and it's already managed to rally up by 40%, and you're not thinking this is probably a little bit unsustainable, then, I mean, you don't belong on this channel. You need to find your next shitcoin channel that just tells you to buy a shitcoin because a YouTuber's been paid incredibly well. Because that ain't this channel. This is all about realistic TA, and if you appreciate that, do me a favor and smash up those likes and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. You guys already know the deal, by the way. If you want to trade on the very same exchange that I'm using, the same one that I've managed to make this beautiful profit with Ethereum on, but they have all sorts of other coins available as well, then you can check out Bybit with the link in the description down below. All you got to do is sign up using my link down below, and then make your first deposit, and you're going to get some free cash. So that's the very same exchange I'm using for free money. All you got to do is sign up using it, using my link in the description. It's fairly obvious, you'll find it in the description, and then yeah, make your first deposit. And Bybit will give you some free cash. If you're in a restricted territory, of course, don't be an idiot. You are going to need a VPN. And of course, I cannot endorse that. You guys are really loving this live stream today. Amazing. Thank you very much for the comments. Love you, bro, from India. Shout out to the Indian followers here. I think they just legalized it in India, right? With a 30% tax. India's funny, man. Watching the Indian government, man. I mean, like, we in the West think that our governments are terrible. Like, the United States government, laughable. UK government, absolute joke. India, like, they are winning the game of just total incompetency. I mean, it's impressive how bad they continuously, you know, do things. I mean, yes, I fully believe that, you know, Western governments make a lot of very, very bad decisions regularly, but India, my God, they are by far leading the way. It is horrible. So good luck, man. I believe it will fix up eventually. But anyway, let's come back to this analysis here. Yeah, resistance definitely could be a problem. The other thing that I want to look at is, you know, I'm very, very interested now that we've started to see this rise, now that we've started to, you know, a lot of people are saying a lot of things. I'm very interested in where might this rally stop. You know, I have to ask these questions, and one of the key ways you can actually kind of figure this out is you throw on a Fibonacci retracement. Which can actually show you, you know, how high this thing is going to move up by, but then still potentially find a little bit of resistance. And yeah, I'm seeing this right here potentially being an area of concern at 38.59, because this is the 618 retracement, and it broadly speaking lines up with a, I mean, you can potentially drop a bit of a line right there. And if I hide this now, this is kind of a resistance area. The reason I'm doing this is, look, you know, I mean, it also doesn't make sense to me that we kind of form this kind of pattern and then bam, we're just off to the sky, right? Like, to me, that's a little bit too easy. I mean, Ethereum can do it. I'm not going to hold my breath on that, but I mean, you know, it's certainly possible. It's not like it'll be the first time we've ever seen that. Someone said, watch the Lebanese government. Okay, fair enough. I think Lebanon wins there, though. Yeah, that is hard to beat the Lebanese government. That's a good point. Yeah, it's pretty shocking, actually. I mean, you know, all things considered, I feel like the West does it fairly well when you compare it to other countries like Lebanon and India and so on. Yeah, but anyway, you know, Fibonacci retracements potentially something that's worth looking at right now. It's harder to do this for Bitcoin, but anyway, let's give it a crack. Let's check it out anyway. See what there is for Bitcoin as well with the very same Fibonacci retracement. Is there any significant level? Yeah, 55k definitely looks significant here. Again, this is the 618 level. For those of you who don't know, the 618 Fibonacci line is generally considered to be the most important one for crypto, followed by the 382 line, which we've broken actually, so that's pretty good. Yeah, these are generally considered to be the most important lines, and 0.5 also lines up with a fair bit of resistance. So I mean, look, there's this is the reason I'm doing this is, look, I don't want you guys to feel like this market is invincible and it's just like a train that's just plowing through every single problem. That's just not what's happening right now. You know, what I think is happening is that we've come out of an area of quite low volatility. There's a lot of excitement. There's a lot of short positions that are getting screwed right now. That's another thing to keep in mind, right? Funding rates have been negative for a very long time. If I show you these funding rates, this is going to really highlight something quite important to you. And if you don't know what funding rates are, then very simply, in short, basically what funding rates are is a representation of what people are trading in the market, whether they're trading the upside or the downside, which is to say, in this case right here, where funding rates are positive, it indicates that a lot of people are opening up long positions and they're very, very bullish. And take note of how this happens at a crucial market top. Inversely, when the funding rates are negative, this shows you that a lot of people are short right now. A lot of people are kind of trying to make the market move down, and so generally we rise up. It's actually a very, very useful contra indicator. You know, to be a contrarian analyst, it's actually quite useful. It's not foolproof, right? Because we had a negative funding rate here all the way up until right here, just shortly before the dip even initiated. So it's not perfect, but you know, when you have a very long-term negative funding rate like we have had right here, you know, this can certainly indicate that the market's going to be moving up in some significant way on the macro scale. This is not short-term analysis, but very, very long-term analysis. This is incredibly reliable in my opinion, and yeah, it has come in absolutely clutch over here, again showing us that, yeah, I mean, Bitcoin could be looking at you know, quite a bit more continued upside. It's not even positive yet. I think that there is a fair bit of steam left in this train yet to move up. Again, whether that means there's a short-term correction first, I don't know, and I don't mind, but I am certainly seeing there being some good possibility for Bitcoin to carry on rising higher, you know, because these funding rates are still negative. And to me, that's a really, really good thing to see in this market right now. That's definitely got me quite excited, because if we are getting, you know, if we are still seeing negative funding rates, that means there's a lot of short positions that need to be closed, right? And for those of you who don't understand how this works, very importantly, this is critical to understand because there's a lot of leverage happening in these markets right now. Of course, this is how I trade as well. You know, when you have leveraged traders in the market, what you're doing is essentially putting more money behind certain ideas, whether the idea is that the market drops or that the market rises up. And obviously right now I'm doing it towards the market rising up. But the thing is you know, if you hold if you have a position open on Bitcoin, just a normal position, forget all these technical terms. If you have a normal position open on Bitcoin, that means you bought Bitcoin, right? You have an active position open. In order to close that position, you need to sell those Bitcoins, and that's going to apply some selling pressure on the market. Now, for you and I, it's probably not going to make a difference, right? We're probably not rich enough for that to be a problem in the market. But when you're talking about 1 million people like you and I, or when you're talking about big institutions that have the same thing, you know, then we are going to start seeing a little bit more selling pressure on the market. And it's actually the inverse if you're playing the short side, right? If you're playing the short side, basically you're pushing the market lower, trying to make money if the market drops. You know, which is also a great thing to do in my opinion. I mean, it depends. If the market is dropping, it's a tool, right? I mean, you know, you use all tools responsibly, but with this tool, playing the short side, obviously your default is not that you hold Bitcoin, but that you've already sold your Bitcoin. And so to close your selling position, you need to buy Bitcoin. And if you're buying Bitcoin, that's going to add some buying pressure to the market. And again, you and I on our own, not going to make a difference. But when there's a million like you and I, or when there's a big entity or multiple big entities doing that very same thing, you're going to have a lot of buying pressure pushing the market up. And it happens quickly, because you got to think about this, right? If a lot of people have been in short positions that they've been trapped in from, let's say, like down here in the high 30K, mid 30K range, for example, you know, where are their stop losses going to be? Their stop losses, generally, they're going to be above the prior swing high, right? This is where people, you know, generally like to place their stop losses just a little bit above the resistance, which is basically a very, very predictable way. I'm getting a lot of lag on my side, guys. Hopefully this isn't translating through to YouTube, but please do let me know. But yeah, I mean, we generally do see those kind of stop losses being placed above those resistance lines, and so, you know, that's where those short positions are going to be what's called covering, and they're going to be you know, closing out those short positions. They're, you know, and the only way you close a short position is by buying, and that's adding even more buying pressure into the market. And again, that's why we see these big price explosions. Obviously, that's way too much to communicate in just these videos, right? I mean, this is a lot of free content on this channel, but, you know, I've only got like 20-30 minutes, and even then people think that this content is far too long. And so, you know, all of these ideas, they've already been taught inside of the VIP package. For those of you who have access to the 𝗧𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗦 Academy course, you know, most people in VIP, like I said, have it, just depending on how you join. So you can gain access to all of these things by following these steps on screen right here, by clicking on the first link in the description down below, then at 𝗧𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗦, and then send message to ask me how to join 𝗧𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗦's VIP. Like I said, I'm in an insanely successful trade on Ethereum right now, and I'm looking at ripping some more opportunities in this market right now as well. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about them with the altcoin market shortly, within a few minutes, and then I'm going to go through your questions as well. But you know, if you do have any interest in joining whatsoever, you just want to find out the details, find out what you've been missing out on all this time, then follow these steps on screen right here. It's super quick, and you can come right back to the live stream. I'll just leave this on screen for a minute because I want to start going through your questions before I look at those altcoins. So if you do have any questions, if you do have any particular things you want me to look at or comment on, then please do me a favor and start dropping your questions now. And also at the very same time, tag me by writing my name in the comment, which means using the @ symbol, Sammy Loyal. Just type in my name and it will autofill, and you'll be able to message me directly. I can already see that some of you have reached out. You've already been sent the information, so if you check out your Telegram app now, you will have a response on how to join VIP. Like I said, my team is active right now, so definitely take advantage of it. It's all going off at the moment. Very, very exciting time indeed. Please take a look at Fantom. I will do. I'm just looking for more general questions right now if we have them. What will be the next buy area for Ethereum? Let me take a look at that as well. Chainlink, IOTA, or VET? I don't know what VET is. Is it VeChain? Or was that Ven? I forgot. Should have been in the market, not open now. Horrible investment strategy. All right, yeah, so let's talk about that one. I know there's a lot of people that are probably on the sidelines. You know, I mean, I was quite vocal about you know, like Bitcoin was cheap down here. It was a good idea to dollar cost average to buy small amounts. Obviously now it's seen this breakout. You know, it's generally better to buy on the dips, and obviously this was a hell of a dip, but I know like when we're in the dip it looks like it's going to keep dropping forever, but that's why you just gotta have some balls, to be honest. I mean, you know, there's nothing that's gonna supplement that. You know, I mean, if we manage to get another dip right now, like I said, the key area for me is going to be that 44 to 46k area. That's where I would be looking at potentially loading up some long positions and so on. You know, just to potentially find a little bit of a, you know, an old resistance flipping into new support type of situation, which has happened before as well. So it wouldn't be the first time that Bitcoin manages to find some support off that level. Somebody asked about Ethereum. The equivalent level for Ethereum, in my opinion, would probably be the kind of $3,200 area or very high $2,000 range. This would probably be the better area of support for Ethereum, in my opinion. And if we take a look at Fibonacci retracement, okay, there is no significant retracement around here, but there is a 618 level right here. So there are these two kind of support areas. This area is very close for Ethereum, to be fair. I mean, we're only like $150 above it, so it's very likely that Ethereum falls back into this box. If you believe that it's bullish, well then, I mean, you might be able to expect that this area is an area of support because it's been resistance in the past and support and then resistance again. Kind of resistance, not really. But then definitely resistance right here. So, you know, I mean, generally these old areas of resistance will become new areas of support, and that could be interesting for those of you who want to potentially get back in these markets. But obviously, I mean, I don't know what direction we're moving in. I'm just kind of putting out what I would be looking at if I wanted to get in. Let's see what else we have here. The 21-week EMA. Let's take a look at the 21-week EMA. That's the first line, the yellow line right here. I'm not sure what specifically you want me to say about it. It's this very yellow line at the top. I mean, this is just kind of in line with the rest of the EMAs. If this market kind of consolidates, these EMAs are probably going to catch up towards the middle of next month, offer us a lot of support. That would be very, very exciting. But other than that, EMAs are very, very far away. This is one of the problems with very quick rises up, is that you just, I mean, you don't really give these indicators a chance to catch up. Which means that, I mean, it's just harder to expect support, in my opinion, right? If we manage to rise up very quickly, where are you going to find support? You know, support generally, you're going to find it as an analyst through looking at lagging indicators like the EMA ribbon and so on, and they're lagging, right? They are behind the actual chart, and so you know, I mean, it's not the best situation if you're rising up so quickly. And again, that's one of the points that I keep wanting to, you know, bring up with you guys again with Ethereum right now, is that, look, I mean, you know, I don't see any resistance here for sure. I think that it should have at least a nice little rally up towards the $3,600 level from here, even though there is, you know, I mean, some sort of consolidation here, which could be a problem. It's just that there's not very much. There's just not much price action, price history around these price levels above 3,000. There's just not very much price history, and so, you know, I can't really expect anything crazy to be happening. But at the very same time, this is not a sustainable trend. You know, to rise up this quickly, if this thing drops, I mean, it's going to be so easy to just, you know, drop like a stone. It's happened before. It's not like it'll be the first fucking time. You know, we've seen this happen multiple times this year, but we've rallied up very, very strongly. 52% in 17 days. Does that ring a bell? 52% in 17 days versus 37% in 15 days. I mean, you know, we're seeing similar ridiculous rally numbers right here. I know 52 and 37%, there's a big difference there, but broadly speaking, come on, these are both big moves. They both happen in a similar fashion where the market just relentlessly moves up, but that doesn't stop us from dropping like a stone within 4 days, dropping by, you know, 13%. That's instantly going to put us back down here, you know, at the support area if we manage to get that kind of drop from where we are right now. Obviously, that drop might initiate from a little bit higher up still. You know, I don't know. I can't see the future, but you know, the point is that, yeah, I mean, this thing can shit the bed really, really quickly. Again, like over here, this was quite a substantial drop. This was minus 27% within about 8 days, right? If we started to see a move like that, minus 27%, again, I mean, we're right back in extremely dangerous territory. We drop below this green box, or the equivalent box for Bitcoin, which I've said is about $44,000 to $46,000, and we are screwed, in my opinion. I mean, you know, to get such a big breakout like this and to then lose it, holy shit, you are in a bad position. That is not good. That is very, very bad, and it must be taken seriously, right? I mean, that is not a good sign at all. So, you know, those are the kind of things that I think are extremely critical to be paying attention to at the moment, right now with this market. Let's take a look at some of the other altcoins. I want to look at Cardano. You guys know I've been following Cardano very closely. Last time I spoke about Cardano publicly, quite a lot was saying that we might find resistance here at the $1 level, and we did, and I didn't go short, and I hated myself for it, but it's all okay because it's ended up moving up again now. It's back in its bullish territory. It's fully recovered absolutely everything. Does it mean that it can't still drop down? No, but you know, again, this area is potentially going to act as a floor once more, and this area was a floor for the market for a very, very long time, for 360 days, nearly a whole year, that we were able to use this area as support for Cardano. This is the $1 price area, and so if it ends up falling now from $1.20 down into this area, I would still be able to expect a little bit of a support bounce. If we fail it, yeah, I mean, I would think that we're at least going back down to these lows, which are where? At about 80 cents. That's kind of what I'm looking at for Cardano. I'm obviously more interested in the Bitcoin chart, and it is performing well against Bitcoin right now, potentially closing in on a bit of resistance right now, so not the best time, but you know, it's a bit hard to say. There's not a whole lot going on this chart. Take a look at Fantom right here. Switch it onto the logarithmic chart. I was talking to you guys about this massively bullish pennant. We massively failed it. It's completely fallen out of that pennant. Let's see how big that drop was. Yeah, that's quite a significant 37% drop within 11 days, and in the next 14 days after that, again, we're up by 43%. Guys, this just proves exactly what I've been saying. I mean, you know, if we take a look at you know, Fantom right here again on CoinMarketCap, those of you who have been watching this live stream since I showed you the CoinMarketCap website before, which was probably about half an hour ago, you're going to remember this key comparison that I was making. Where is Fantom anyway? I cannot find Fantom. Maybe it's really high up, really low down. FTM. Look at the market. Oh wow, yeah. So again, this is the thing, guys. I mean, you know, I think Fantom gets way too much attention, honestly. It's just not a big market. So I just want to get a bit more comfortable. It's just not a big market. Its market cap is $3.7 billion. So the whole market is worth $3.7 billion at the current price, and fully diluted, it's 4.6 as well. I mean, it's just not that big. What is the ranking of this coin? Where does it say ranking? I feel like a boomer looking at this shit, because I'm like literally just too old for this. Like, oh, here it is. It's ranked 45, because this website has changed so much since I was using it in 2017. But yeah, $3.7 billion market cap. It's ranked 45, and it's pulled a 43% gain from its low. Right, Ethereum, which is rank 2, with a market cap of 400 billion. So this is literally like 100 times larger than Fantom, which is to say, potentially, nothing's guaranteed. We don't know, but come on, let's be honest. You and I talking normally, obviously Ethereum is a safer bet than Fantom, than Solana, than any other shit coin that you trade and love so dearly. Ethereum's just obviously a safer bet because it's been around for longer. It's a much larger market. It's far less subject to manipulation because of that. You know, it just is a better coin to be looking at, in my opinion, because of those factors. And again, you consider, like, from its low to its high, 43%, and that's its absolute low, by the way. That's the absolute low that that Fantom set. You know, if we take a look at Ethereum's absolute low, it's actually down over here. It's rallied up by far more than Fantom. Now, obviously, it's not a very fair comparison because this is a 2-month time frame compared to a half-a-month time frame for Fantom, but if we look at it within a similar kind of time frame, I mean, it's still broadly speaking the same move. I mean, 21 days compared to 14 days. It's an extra week of price action. Fuck it, we draw it from here. We're still up 36%. You know, I mean, 40%, 36%. You're not gaining anything by trading these smaller coins, but my God, you're taking a lot of extra risk. You're taking a lot of extra risk, and you're just not gonna know this unless the right person comes along with a no bullshit attitude that's already done all this, right? The thing I want you guys to keep in mind, and most of you probably already know this, but you know, for those of you who don't, is, you know, when coins like this are being shoved in front of your bloody face, that's because people are getting paid to do it, right? Like there is an incredibly lucrative industry out here for YouTubers like myself to push you shit, and like, and it happens in a very seamless way, by the way. You know, it's not like a bad thing, right? It's just about, like, you need to know, like, when a coin is being drawn to your attention because it's genuinely good, or because somebody is being paid to say it. You know, I don't think it's a bad thing. Obviously, I'm one of the YouTubers too, so I'm going to be biased in that way. But you know, the thing to keep in mind is, you know, bottom line, the only reason that you would go lower down in this list of coins on CoinMarketCap is because you want to enjoy a better reward than what the more established coins can give you, right? The only reason you ever go from Bitcoin to another coin is because, yeah, other than, oh, the tech is cool, right? Because that's the most bullshit reason people get into the market. But anyway, we're not going to start on that because I'm not going to shut up otherwise. You know, the only reason you go from Bitcoin to something else is because you expect it to make you more money than Bitcoin. And at the moment, that's not happening. Like, at the moment, it's just a better choice to be in Bitcoin, to be in Ethereum right now. You know, we take a look at Bitcoin's rally in a similar time frame. It's up by 27%. I mean, I think that's pretty good, right? Like, I think that's pretty damn impressive to be up by 27% in this market right now. I don't know about you guys, but I mean, you know, to gain an extra 10%, and how much more risk are you taking on? It's just really not worth it, in my opinion, to be engaging in those coins. And again, these are the kind of things that I try and put forward for those of you who are in VIP. You've already been seeing that very, very well, so definitely do take advantage of it right here if you are interested in joining. Let me continue going through your questions right here. Sammy spitting facts, you already know it, man, you already know it. Take a look at Luna. Yes sir, I will do. Let's see what else we have here. Thanks Sammy, speak the truth, I support you with thumbs up. Thank you so much, Michael, really appreciate that. I've seen the thumbs up go down as soon as he started spitting truth. There you go. That's an even better sign that I need to go even harder on this. This channel, I try and make this point clear. I'm not like the other guys. I mean, you know, if you don't like what I'm saying, I don't want you here. I don't need you here. I'm a trader. You know, like this is what I do. So you know, the YouTube channel is very much secondary to that, and that's why we're able to have such a high degree of accuracy. You know, this is a very much no BS zone. If there were room for bullshit, I just wouldn't be trading as well as I do, you know, overall. And that is obviously the most important thing, right? Like, I wanna stay trading in a very competent, very healthy way. And that does require the BS to be pushed to the side. Let's go ahead and take a look at Luna while we're here. Luna is a coin that I've been following very, very closely over these last weeks, and just because I found that its price action is so interesting, and it's also tradable on Bybit, by the way, which I thought was quite a surprise. Actually, it's very interesting how Bybit will generally have these coins right before they blow up and get really interesting, and you can trade them on leverage as well, which you guys again know is what I do. So once more, if you do want to sign up and get some free money, you get free money just by signing up. You don't even have to use the platform. All you have to do is follow up, is sign up using my link in the description down below, and then make your first deposit. Again, you can pause the live stream here, do it. In the time since I started talking about Bybit, you'd probably already be like halfway done. So it's extremely quick. Definitely take advantage of that if you are interested. But again, looking at Luna right here, it's just kind of pushing its all-time highs again quite clearly. There's not much analysis I can give you here. I'm just gonna have to wait until it rises up these next $4, if it does, of course, because nothing is guaranteed, up to that all-time high. Next $4 to $6 move up, if it happens, would be interesting to watch. If we get a pullback, I would be interested in buying that pullback before potentially trading it higher again. But I don't know if we would get a pullback, because it's already pulled back once and twice over here, actually 3 times, because there were 2 separate pullbacks on this occasion, and actually, depending on how you calculate this, there were up to 4 or 5 pullbacks, or even 6 over here, right? So we've already seen quite a lot of resistance from this area. Doesn't mean it's going to continue offering resistance. I don't know, but I'm just putting it out there. If it does manage to rise up beyond this this $100 and $504 area, I would probably expect it to fly much higher, purely because the market, I feel right now, is in quite a bullish space. I think, you know, again, we look at the fear and greed index, people are feeling greedy. This is where I can expect some money to start flowing out into altcoins. This is what's happening with Bitcoin and Ethereum, by the way, right? Bitcoin, funds will flow from Bitcoin into Ethereum, which we can see very clearly with the Ethereum Bitcoin chart, where Ethereum is gaining strength against Bitcoin. But when that move happens, generally the rest of the altcoins are next, and you see the major ones, the big ones that have already been in the headlines quite a lot, like Solana, but also like Luna, for example, which is not nearly as large. you take a look at Luna right here, it's number 9. It's still actually pretty large, to be fair, but $35 billion market cap. Definitely quite impressive. That's when these coins start really blowing up, is after the likes of Ethereum and so on generally, because what happens here from a psychological perspective is that, you know, I mean, the big daddy Bitcoin, the safe investment, the big one, the one that people care most about, that they're watching the closest, is doing well. And you know, when your coin, when your investment is doing well, you start getting greedy, you want even more money, and so you start looking at smaller coins with potentially higher risk and higher reward, and that's when you look at Ethereum, and then Ethereum does well, and then you start looking at even riskier coins like Luna, for example. And so that's what I'm looking at for Luna right now. I just think that the market sentiment is in the right place to where if it does manage to rally above that all-time high right now, it could actually turn out to be very, very interesting. And on that note, I'm going to set a couple alerts because I might want to trade that. Again, I'll brief VIP members on absolutely every single detail for every trade I make. For those of you who don't know the deal already, you're getting access to all the information about every trade I'm making, whether that's my entry level, you know, where I'm going to be entering a trade, where I'm going to be taking profits, how I'm changing my take profit strategy over time, how I'm moving my stop loss over time, with all of the reasoning behind those decisions as well. And you get them in advance, right? I mean, I'll tell you about them as soon as I start planning them, which means, I mean, it can be hours in advance, it can be days in advance, and on top of that, I'm giving you breakdown videos. As soon as this Ethereum trade is closed, I'm going to make a breakdown video breaking down absolutely every single step that I took in a video just like this, but we're only going to be talking about trading, right? This YouTube channel is all about analysis. VIP is all about trading. So that's the complete other half, the other extremely necessary part of this engine, of this vehicle. You know, and that's what I'm aiming to put forward right there. So Luna, potentially one that I would be looking at trading relatively soon. Of course, I'll share those details inside of VIP as usual. Let's look at XRP. It's been a while. Nothing particularly interesting on XRP at the moment, in my opinion. It's a dirty chart, to be honest. It kind of moves in its own way, so it's not something I want to focus too much on at the moment. Link's been pretty Link's been not really interesting for a long time. Let's see how it has managed to rally up from its recent low. It's up by about 36%. Again, proves the point, ladies and gents. I mean, these are just not worth holding. But yeah, they've all outperformed Bitcoin, but they also outperformed Bitcoin on the drops down. You know, like, that's a pretty big deal. We look at Link from its all-time high down to its absolute low that it set. It fell down by 78%. You know, I mean, if you look at Bitcoin for that same move, you know, I mean, it didn't fall by anything close to that. It fell by 52%, right? So yeah, I get it. These altcoins are rallying a bit harder than Bitcoin right now, but you still lost money. Like, you know, it's just not the place to be. I mean, it's like bragging that you know, your girlfriend only cheated on you once instead of 3 times. You know, I mean, it's like, what is the good thing here? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you've still lost more money if you're in these coins, and again, that's why I always look at majors, and people don't listen to me, like, when the market is bullish. Like, they just don't want to hear it. I remember I got so much flack for talking about how, I think it was Matic was potentially getting ready to drop, and I said it a little bit too early. I said it probably around over here. I can't remember where I said it, actually, to be honest. It must have been like around over here. A lot of people got really, really annoyed with me, and then of course, I mean, it rallied a little bit more, but look at how hard it dropped. Again, even Matic dropping harder than Bitcoin, you know, down by 58% compared to Bitcoin's. I think it was 52 if I'm not mistaken, and it's up by, I mean, again, it's just not that impressive, right? Like, this is only up by as much as Bitcoin. I don't understand why you take on so much additional risk and not even really enjoy more reward. I mean, it's I don't know. It's like it's like saying that you want to drive a car with 3 wheels because it's more fun. It's like, okay, well, how much more fun is it versus how much more dangerous is it? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. This is where obviously you've got to be very rational. You've got to be very smart about how you're placing your money, and it's not just going to be down to who's talking about what on crypto Twitter or crypto YouTube. You know, I mean, you're going to have to put a little bit of real effort into this, unfortunately. but that's, again, that's what I'm trying to do for you here, and just kind of show you how I've arrived to these very same conclusions and so on. So let's see what other questions we have here. I'm probably going to be heading off relatively soon. Live streams are still throttled, guys. It's quite annoying. We can't even break 1,000 views. To be fair, I mean they're pretty good for this channel, the overall metrics. But yeah, I mean we used to hit like 4,000, 2,000 regularly. So YouTube still, I mean it's just like it switched off last year. I don't know what happened. I must have done something to piss YouTube off or something. But yeah, it's somewhat frustrating because I just know like it's not even efficient. Like people who want to watch these live streams can't because YouTube isn't recommending them. They're not delivering notifications and so on. Very, very annoying. You would love to see a SA. What is SA? To me, SA means South Africa. It's just a bunch of degen gamblers. That's exactly what they are, man. These altcoin holders, that's what they are. They're gamblers. Forfly spits truth. You already knew it. You already know it, man. Confused monk. Shout out to you. Could I take a look at Neo? Oh man, it's been a long time since I've seen Neo. I remember Neo when it was ant shares. That was interesting. I was talking to the Bybit CEO. Is he the CEO or the founder? I don't know. But he's the guy, like the guy. And we were talking about how Neo used to be ant shares, and I don't think anyone remembers those days. But Neo is in a beautiful position right now for resistance, to be honest. Looking at this extremely long-term chart going back to 2017, 2018, this has been an important area of resistance for Neo historically over these years, and especially more recently, and it's at that resistance area right now. Now, the thing that makes this somewhat difficult to analyze is that, obviously, if the rest of the market is fairly bullish, I don't know if I can necessarily expect that, for example, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on are going to continue rising, but Neo starts dropping. That just doesn't make sense to me. But bottom line, this is a very important area of resistance. I do think that if this resistance breaks, yeah, I can't see any more resistance on this chart. Again, it's the same thing as Ethereum that I was saying before, is that it went up so quickly. It didn't manage to establish any resistance on the way up or any support on the way down continuously. Look, again on the way up and again on the way down. So I think that if it does manage to break this yellow line, we could be looking at quite a large breakout. I mean, if it, let's say it gets, I don't know, up to like 30, I don't know, call it $29, whatever. I have to take a proper good look at this chart in order to give you real numbers, but I mean, easy 20% move to the upside if it, which I just blazing up, just, you know, like a rocket, just like a slingshot, you know, just very, very quick, extreme, just rubber banding kind of price action all the way to the upside. If it manages to break this resistance, because I'm not seeing any more resistance on this chart, especially recently throughout 2020 and 2021, well, mainly just 2021, I'm not seeing any real kind of resistance above, you know, the $29-30 area. I guess you could say from like 32 all the way up to kind of, you know, 40. There's just not much resistance here. So you know, this is what I want you guys to be keeping an eye out for with your altcoins that are your favorites. I mean, this is how I like to analyze. This is exactly why I was able to enter this position on Ethereum, because I was seeing the same thing, where if we do manage to rise up from here, I mean, it's pretty much a gap, right? I mean, there's just not much that I think can happen other than straight line upward price action because of all of the factors that happened before. And again, that is exactly what we're looking at right now, where I mean, pretty much just in a straight line from my entry level down here, it's been able to rally up, because I mean, this is just one of those areas where you can generally expect to find a little bit of, you know, just straight vacuum, you know, like I said, that kind of rubber banding, extremely quick, like whiplash type price action. And again, the reason we get it is because there's just not much resistance on the chart. And so, you know, if you've got something that's been kind of suppressed for a long time and then finally you let it go and there's nothing that can stop it. I mean, this is like, you know, a dog seeing the snow for the first time, and you know, you open the door and that's it. That dog is gone, you know, enjoying the snow. That's kind of like what I feel like is happening right here as well within this market at the moment. Just joined in, not sure if you mentioned, but where do I see resistance for Ethereum? Where do I see a pullback to? Welcome to the live stream. Please do rewind the live stream to the very beginning, because you're missing a lot of very, very critical things. And that goes for all live streams, but for Ethereum, very quickly, I'm seeing resistance right here and support right here. So resistance at about 3640, support around 3200 and around 3000. That's kind of where I'm seeing those key levels for Ethereum. I'm going to be heading off relatively soon though, so thank you all for tuning in. The sun's just started to come out, so it's been raining earlier today, so I might go head out, get a little bit of food. Still haven't eaten today. and I had a pretty intense gym day yesterday, so I definitely do need to get those gains in. You already know the deal. If you follow me on Instagram, go ahead and check it out. If you want to follow me on Instagram, see what I'm doing every day, get a behind-the-scenes access into what's going on in my life. Again, if you like free money, Bybit is the place to be. Follow that link in the description down below. If you want to jump inside a VIP, it's popping off right now. It is the best time to be in at a time like this in this market. So if you are excited, you do want to see a little bit more of what's going on, then follow these steps on screen right here. It's such a powerful place to be in the market right now, and you can find out what the steps are, what the prices are. They have changed, by the way, so definitely take advantage of this while you can. And you can ask me any questions you have and so on there as well. I'll take a couple final questions if you have them, but otherwise it's been a very good live stream. I'm very sorry for the technical issues that we had at the very beginning, but we did end up coming back fairly well. Michael's saying take some roids. And the amount of people that have spoken to me about this recently, it seems to be very, very common. I had no idea. I mean, I was told from a young age that steroids are very bad, and I never looked twice at them. But it seems like fucking everyone is taking steroids, which is quite interesting. Best analogy I ever made. I'm not sure which analogy you're talking about, but thank you very much. Alright guys, yes, I will head off. I've already looked at Link, by the way. You can rewind the live stream. Didn't look at it much. Pissing myself laughing at that analogy, only cheated on me once. Oh yeah, that was in response to the Will Smith drama, but I don't wanna comment on that. I'm on Will Smith's side. Feel bad for the guy, to be honest. I feel very bad for the guy. And let's be honest, I mean, Chris Rock, he took that smack like a man. You know, like, a lot of other people just instantly would have been like, oh my god, call security, or I'm gonna press charges and so on. Chris Rock, bit of a dick, but he's a real man. Took that slap like a man. I respect that. I respect that. Yeah, I mean, by steroids, I meant TRT, I meant testosterone. That is a form of steroids, so... I mean, it's a very dirty word, but that's what it is. I mean, yeah, obviously, it's just testosterone that I'm talking about. But I'm a young guy. You guys were asking for my age. I'm 20. I don't need that. At least not for now. Gonna keep natural for a solid bit. You know, there's a lot that I need to do. I'm quite early in my, you know, kind of training journey. So there's a lot of newbie gains I'm still getting. So I got time. I got time. Anyway, guys, I'll see you all in the next one. Hope you have enjoyed this one. You know what to do. Just make sure you are subscribed, even if you regularly watch these videos. A lot of you are not, and you're going to miss them if you aren't. You might watch some of them, but you won't catch them all. So make sure you are subscribed if you want to watch them all. Tick the bell as well. Hit up the likes. All of that stuff is very, very useful, very helpful. And yeah, I do appreciate it all very much. Anyway, hope you will enjoy this one, and I'll see you all in the next one.